Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. My name is Kesley Anderson, and I am going to be talking about how to use your Happy Planner to create to kind of continue from our class last week about setting goals and intentions and how to use your Happy Planner, not only the monthly layouts but the weekly layouts to help you progress and move forward to attaining your intentions. I have a very short presentation at the beginning to kind of give you an overview, and then we're going to just go right into the planner itself. I've got it set up next to me with an overhead camera, so we'll be able to go right into that. But why don't I go ahead and we'll just jump right into the presentation. Let me put on my glasses real quick so I can make sure I'm reading everything properly. And I've got it set up. Here we go. Okay. Now in this workshop, we do use the Q&A as a way to communicate with me. And so if you have questions as we're going through, please do give us a pause and let us know that you have a question, and we'll be able to answer those questions in the Q&A. Okay, so let me just go ahead and share my screen here. It always takes just a second to get it to process over. So if you just see a blank screen, do not worry, I'm still here. Okay, so here is your monthly layout. Every page, every section is divided by month. So in your monthly layout, it's very simple. You have the left side that is room to write notes or goals or anything like that. And then you'll have the month across the top and the date. So this is like a generic layout for your monthly layout in your Happy Planner. Now I am using the classic style, so the big and the minis may be a little bit different, but I think you'll be able to use all of the same principles. So today we'll do our February layout, and I have a Happy Planner that I'll be using, and it's the classic size. I have sticker books I've picked out sticker books for the month, and I'll use a ruler, my monthly template, which is what I'm excited to share with everybody. I have some decorative paper, a paper trimmer, adhesive, washi tape, an everyday pen, and colorful pens. And don't feel like you can't do this if you don't have the same supplies that I have. You can use really whatever you have on hand. So if you don't have, obviously, not everybody will have these books. Maybe you picked out different books, different sticker books to use for your January layout, and that's totally okay. You'll get the principles and the ideas as we move through the layout. And I said January, I meant February. So basically what I did to create my templates was I considered some of the main design principles of more so like layout design, as in like magazines or posters. I sort of took those principles and the principles of working in thirds to give everyone some templates to work from. So this was the January template I used, and I'll be able to share with you how I implemented this sort of approach by chunking it into thirds on this layout. And then I used, this will be the layout I use for February. So this one isn't necessarily in thirds, but it still does, it's actually quarters. So you have a square in the center that I have, by putting in 2 squares, I kind of make it into a circle, and that gives your eye a place to go to. So your eye will start maybe on the left side and then go to the heart and work your way around the circle back to the heart and then off to the right side of the page. As I go through these slides, sort of think about like what element might attract your attention first, and then where your eye goes second. So for the next layout, I did a real simple line down the side, sort of like an L, and then across to a large bucket, if you will. So ideally your eye would go down the left side and across the bottom and end at the end of the month. We traditionally read left to right, so your visual will go the same way. Your eye should go left to right. So by placing your elements in a simple style that follows that pattern, you'll get elegant layouts. And I like to have very easy layouts to use so that my content that I need to put on the calendar, my dates, my reminders, memory things I want to keep, that doesn't get overshadowed by a bunch of stickers and things like that. So this is another layout where you have a big element at the top, and then so ideally you would start off on that left corner and your eye would go down to this first square here, and then kind of come up, and then you go back down to the page. Again, using elements to bring your eye across the page like this, just using sort of a V format. You can shorten this V and turn it into a W, and it'll take your eye the same way. This layout here, you have your left sidebar and then your larger, brighter color elements that will bring your eye across the page. On this layout, your eye would come across your first 2 weeks, stop on your weekend, go down here. On your Sunday and Monday, go across your week, and then go back down onto your last and final week there. And when I give you a template like this, you can always switch it. So like actually when I use this template, I put my single week at the top of the calendar and then the two smaller weeks below. Here's another one where you have these rectangle elements to bring your eye across, but you also have a swoosh in the back. And the swoosh just brings your eye across this layout in addition to the larger rectangle elements. This is another layout where maybe you don't have anything in the top of the week. It's a month that starts on a Saturday or a Friday, so you have very little in the top, and the majority of your content for that month will be in the bottom half of the month. This is another simple layout where your eye automatically goes right here to the start of the month, and then it trails down to the bottom and goes across. Having something up here in this top corner that's such a bright color, it really draws your eye into that location. Another one, this is great if your month starts over here in this first column, and then your eye can just kind of fall down the page to the next month. This I kind of imagine snowflakes or hearts or leaves as embellishments to go across the page. And then this is a December calendar where we have a lot going on, and you can see it really is busy, and your eye might go, you're like, where do I start? You could start with all the bolder green layers and then come down, and then you come back down here and you work your way that way. So these layouts are all, we're going to share a link to the layouts with you, not only that screen where you have them really big, but also to a page that is just the individual. So you can, if you wanted to, let me see if I can escape out of this. If you wanted to just print your page, we'll send you the link to this Canva page. You can download it. So right up here, you'll have the opportunity to select the share icon, and you can download this page as a PDF and print it, and then you'd have all the layouts handy. So why do layouts? I think that a lot of times for myself, sometimes I sit down to work on a monthly spread or a weekly spread, and I kind of am like, where do I start? What do I start with? How do I get going on this page? So I came up with those templates and sort of a rule of thirds, and making sure that my eye would go through the month layout before I started adding all of my dates and any other embellishments that I wanted to add on to the month. And the reason I did that was to give myself a foundation, a sense of like, okay, where to start in doing it, and then I can build onto that. But I find if I just kind of sat down and just started putting stickers on my page, that it was overwhelming and I didn't enjoy the process, and then I didn't enjoy looking at the page. Also, I found if I didn't if it didn't flow, if my month didn't flow again, I didn't really enjoy looking at the page. So I wasn't excited to open up that month layout and look at it. Now, the great thing about your weekly layouts is you turn those pretty quickly, and once you finish with a week, if you kind of didn't like it, you can just be like, okay, I learned on that layout. But the monthly layout, you really want it to set the tone for your month. I advise to the week before the month starts, or you can plan them out ahead of time if you want to, but at least the week before the month starts, pick a layout. Pick your books that you want, your sticker books that you want to work with. Now, I do tend to only use 1 or 2 books in a month. And I try and actually, I give myself a goal to use up that entire book. I have not achieved that goal yet, but I do have it as, that's my goal, that I can use up my book with purpose, my stickers with purpose, not just kind of throw them on my page to use them up, but that each sticker has a purpose. And then I will pull from other books if I need something like if I'm looking for a title or something like that to kind of go with the other stickers I have, or maybe I just need a black box to go on a date or something like that. So to get started, I'm going to switch us over to the overhead camera here so we can look at the overhead. And if you have any questions as I'm going through it, please do not hesitate to ask. I'm happy to answer your questions and maybe help guide you through your process if I can. So again, I'm using the Classic Happy Planner, and this is my printout of my monthly layouts. So it's kind of light to see it on here. But my February layout, I am going to put down a strip on the side and then create this circle. The heart is designed to fall on February 14th of this month. So that's kind of what I'm going to use. Now, if you took our class last week about setting your intentions, you may have these pages already set up in your planner where you went through and came up with your core values for the year and what you wanted to focus on. My focus for this year is my outlook, my health, and my family. Those are the 3 things that I'm really focused on. So every month I want to bring that focus into the month and work that in one way or another. So I have, my goal sheet of what I want to do. And then at the end of the year, I'll have my recap sheet. So if you didn't have a chance to take that class is posted on the Michael's website. So this layout here had one color at the top. So this was the one that was broken into thirds. It had one color at the top, the 2 top weeks, and then the 3 bottom weeks. So for me, maybe you were still in vacation mode after New Year's and Christmas and everything. So you really hadn't ramped up your month yet. And that's kind of where I was in those first 2 weeks of the month. So I did those in pink. That was my top color here was a light pink. This color here is a medium pink. And then I'm working with black for the rest of the month. I have all of my intentions are set. The 3 things I'm focusing on are set right here and as a reminder of what I need to do. And then as things happen that maybe correlate to one of my intentions, I can highlight it, I can star it, I can put a little heart on it, but that kind of would go with the rest of the month here. And then we'll come back here and talk about our weeks when we get there. But if you're working on your planner, so go ahead and take out your 2 February pages. So we'll just pull those out. I find it's so much easier to work in your planner with your pages out of the planner itself. So we have February right here. Now, you may have an undated calendar. You may have a bigger calendar or a smaller calendar, and that's totally fine. You can work with that. The great thing about Happy Planner is the stickers work within all of the different calendars. So that's really a great thing. Now, I did pull out my my Polaroid zip, which we'll share a link for that in the chat. This is great because the stickers come out small. The pictures come out small, and you can, I'm looking for my paper trimmer and I don't see it. Let me grab my paper trimmer. Sorry about that. I thought I had it right here. I must have put it away. Okay. So the zinc is, this little Polaroid printer is a great way to add a little embellishment, kind of use your calendar as a memory keeper. To put something in a picture in one of the squares, you just will cut your picture. Now I trim it to 1.5 and then a smidge, because if you measure your box, any of these little boxes, it's like, it's 1.5 and then one marker over. So it's like, what is that, 7/16, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9/16. So it's 1 inch and 9/16. So what I do is I go to my paper trimmer and I go to the 1.5 inch and then one little boop over. And then I just trim down the picture. Now you could do, if you wanted to, you could do some sort of cardstock in this first date box. You could do a sticker if you had a saying you wanted to put in there. This is just the really focal point of the month. So I just chose to have a picture of myself and my sweetie on Valentine's Day. If you don't want to have the 14th covered up, you can certainly take your scissors and just trim that corner off a little bit, and it will show. The date will show through. Sometimes I will go into a book. I'm trying to find a day. It's a lot of flipping in books. I'll be honest with you guys. I flip through my books so much when I'm doing my planning, and I really like to kind of sit down and flip through the book first before I do my planning. I just find I am more effective that way, and I'll even put little sticky notes on the pages that I want to come back and use. It's like, this is definitely one I want to use. Let me, oh, there's not, I'm sure there, I know there's got to be like a month sticker in here. I just can't find it. Right? There's got to be. Anyway, that, what I would do is I would use that month sticker to kind of guide my cut in this, in the little picture window. I know it's in here. Somewhere it's hiding. All right, maybe not. Maybe it's just not in this one. I thought almost, oh, here we go. I knew it was here. So you can see where this, that little cutout is on this square, and how that would make it so that your number is visible. So you can take a sticker, you can either attach it to the back if you want to, but I just would put it, let's see, one in that corner there. So I'm just going to line that up like that, and then I'll use my scissors and just trim that corner off. Now I'll use that as my guide throughout today, any other pictures I put. Now, if I think I'm going to use this one later, I will just sort of, you can't see, I'll just place it on something so I can come back and grab it. But if I'm not sure if I'm going to use this, I just remove this back sticker sheet. So you just take off the excess around your stickers like this. And I do this a lot. And then that way it makes it easier to put it back on the page. Okay, so that's the first element I'm going to put on my layout. Now, according to my template, I'm going to do a circle here using hearts and something else. It doesn't have to be hearts. I just kind of indicated circles just to show like you could put anything in there. And you know what, before I get going too far, I also am going to do that trim piece on the side. Now for that one, I'm just going to, I have a little piece of Doodlebug. Oh, I went through my stash and I found a piece of cardstock that I liked. So I'm going to trim this one down. And it is this, I think it's still 1.25 inches here, 1.5 inches. So it's 1.5 inches exactly. So you just have to trim this down 1.5 inches. Now I will trim it as long as my page so that this piece on the corner goes all the way from the top to the bottom. So the pages are always good to double check. I think they're 9 inches. Yep, 9 inches. So I'll just trim this little piece of paper down to 9 inches. Now I'll show you other layouts where I didn't use a little decorative paper. I used stickers and placed stickers down the side. But basically what I'm doing is I'm giving myself sort of a landing page for my intentions for the year. And this is where every time I open up my February planner, this is where I want to look. I want my eye to go right here because this has, will have all of my intentions on it. And I'll make like little squares or little hearts and put my intentions on each one. Oops, I went a little short, but there we go. Okay, so there we go. And then I'm just going to do some embellishment around the side. And I loved in this sticker book, like those are really fun. These are really cute. I think I kind of like this look to go with it. And actually, I'm just going to go ahead and pull that out so I have it handy. Don't have to flip through so much. And I'll pull this one out. So I have this handy. Lots of rose gold, which is perfect for Valentine's Day. And then you usually will have in your book like something that will have a quote, an inspiration, something that talks to you. And we're going to add that into our circle. So we've got this page here. See, I love this one. Follow your heart, be true to you, keep the wild in you. Oh, this is what I was looking for. So we have this kindness is magic. Let your dreams lead the way. Find out who you are and do it on purpose. Keep the wild in you and let the beauty of we love what we do. I don't know if I read that. This was also like, love this. This one had a lot of love themes to me. Live what you love, be happy, made with love, be love and bright. So I kind of felt like these would go and coordinate in with the whole vibe. So what I'm going to do is starting first closest to the picture, I'll put
Kesley, I don't know if you can hear me, but we did lose you. Oh, there she goes. We'll give it a minute and see if she logs back in, guys. Sorry about that. Sorry, it does look like Kesley is having some technical difficulties. I am checking with her to see if she'll be able to log back in. Hopefully we'll be back up and running in a minute. Other than that, I will let you know if there's any updates.
Awesome. Now I'm back.
Thank you. I am hearing you echo. Other than that, it looks good.
Okay, yes, I don't know what happened. I apologize. But here I am.
I'm not sure.
Oh, it was okay. So I apologize. I'm not sure where I got kicked out. Can you remind me? I think I just hadn't gotten started putting down my embellishments.
Correct.
Okay. So let's see. So what we're going to do is with the purple spots, we'll put a heart. And then where the pink is, I'll put one of the tiger leopard prints. Now I'm doing that because where those purple spots are, they're really simple and those are just going to be sort of like background. But I want to be able to add a little quote or something on top of the where it's just the leopard print. So I kind of want to be able to add something onto that. So I'm just going to add the little leopard hearts here, and we'll just bring those around into a circle. Now I'm not going to worry too much. I tend not to worry too much if I cover up a number or the hole punch, because I can always go back in and fix that. So think about this like you're going to make a square with these 4 pieces. So we'll just grab another red one here, another like little heart here, and that's President's Day. And then I'll have this one up here. So I'm starting to get my circle, you can see. And then we'll take our leopards here and we'll have a nice big one down at the bottom. And then one more will go over here. And I love these because the leopard sort of has like the heart in it. So it's kind of fun. So there is my heart shape onto my layout. Now from here, I can just add a little bit of a fun little quote or a little saying if I wanted to. I sort of like the idea of grabbing the black because it's like it'll kind of bring it out a little bit, where I think if I use the rose gold, it would fade into the back. And I kind of like the Dare to Begin because we're at the beginning of a new month and it's going to go right up here. And I'm just going to say Dare to Begin. And if I wanted to bring in one more little quote, I could balance that off by adding a little quote down here. And that just may be, let's see, which would be a fun one to do there. Kind of just want to say love right there. So I don't necessarily want the whole quote. I just want a little bit of the love. So I'll just take my scissors and come in right on the sticker sheet and I'll take that off there. And then some other time I'll come back and I'll fill that in with something else. But I'll put Live What You Love on this little spot here, just to kind of fill this out a little bit. And we just trim this in here. So once I have this set, I will come back in as I have events and different elements that I need to add to this layout to kind of fill it in. So, for example, if I wanted to add my intentions along the side here, I have my 3 intentions, and I would look for something in the light pink family or the black family and add that into there. So, like, this might be a really good um, element to add onto that side just to write my intentions. I could also just do it all in rose gold, and I have plenty of the same color in there. Actually, that's probably a better choice there, just to do those in rose gold and then use the black on the layout. So you just have to, again, it's always that flip through, right? We flip through so much. But let's go ahead. I think I'm going to use that rose gold since I have the 4 on the rose gold page here. So I can use these. I'll use 3 out of these 4 to just set my intentions and remind myself every time I come to this page what it is that I'm focusing on for the rest of this month. So I'll just put those right down there. And I'm working in 3s because I have 3 intentions. If you have more, you can always add more if you have more. And then you can, maybe something here speaks to you, or you can write in your intentions if you wanted to. So you could just grab your page. And don't be worried. People will say to me, "Oh, I don't like my handwriting." You know what? It's your handwriting. That is your special. It's like your calling card. It's your fingerprint. You are the only one that writes like you. So I think embrace it. And if you don't like it, work to change it. Practice. And this is a great place to practice. So my first intention is my health. So I'll just write up my health. My second intention is my outlook. And my third intention is my family. So from here, when I have time and I'm not chatting away, I will fill in that information and give myself like either a little positive quote or something about each of these sections here. And like I said, as I go through and I start planning out things for my month, I will add those in around my layout here. But this gives me the basis and the core of what I have going on. Sometimes I would I might come back in and just add a little bit as I go and as it's needed. Let me just take this off here. So just take that off, and that way I can sit that one right in there. I should put an extra little heart on that date there. But I want to show you back to the planner that's done for January, how I go back in. So this is your before the pen. So you could take a picture of this and share that out with anybody. As I go back to my January, so when I set up my January before my pen, I just had the washi across the top, the washi on the bottom, and the black washi here. That was all I had done. And then I added my intentions on the side. But it gave me the core of how I wanted to lay out my month. And then I'll go back in, and as things occur, I'll fill them in. Like here was New Year's Day, and then we had a game day. We went to Georgetown Glow and had dinner. So I'll add those special embellishments, those special, dates and things into the planner on top of this. So that one. And you don't have to have taken the previous class, the previous workshop to take this one. So the previous one was just about setting your intentions and kind of coming up with what you wanted to focus on this year. You don't have to do that to work on your monthly layouts and be organized. I just refer to that because I like to keep myself focused on what my intentions are. And that way, if I set that out at the beginning of the month, every time I look at this, no matter how busy my month gets or how much I have going on, I can always sort of kind of come back and check with myself on what I need to do and where I am and what's important. So now one other thing is, because I covered the 14th with a picture, I would know to go and look at my week for that information on that particular day. So let's come back to our planner, and we'll come back and put my February calendar in like this. Veronica, what would you like a close up of? What am I not showing you enough of? So I'll put that back in, and you could choose to change out your rings to pink if you wanted to, if that was like your color of the month, or gold. Like I may change these out to rose gold if I have them on hand. Then I would add those in there. So what do you do if you need to put something in a date that is covered? Okay, so this one here, you don't have to worry about that because that has a lot that has a lot, but there are no dates here. So Vicky, when I get to a date where I know I have something going on, so like let's say on this Monday, I'm teaching a class. So I would grab either, let's see, that's a nice blush color. I would grab a blush, a little sticker that has, like a little label sticker. Maybe this one here would be cute. And I would just put this on here and then add that to the box like that as a reminder, as a reminder of what I need to do that day. See how forgiving these are? I love that I can put it down. If it's crooked, I can just kind of pick it up. Not always, but usually. So I just put that down like that. And then I would just write in and say workshop when I have that workshop and what it is. And so that would just go right there. So same thing with any of these spots, like right here, if I had something going on, I would maybe just have to put it in a little skinnier, a little smaller sticker, if you will, like one of these. You might just put your little black sticker right in here like that, and you could overlap it. Let's see, we'll go right here. And then I can put that down on there. Sorry, guys. Do that like that. So you just put that down like that. And then that's how you would add your things. And then, if you have, you don't feel like you have to fill in everything. If you go back to my January, I do have some days where, nothing was going on or nothing, exciting was happening that I needed to have a reminder about. So I could put like a little box that has a quote in there or something like that. You don't have to fill every single square with something. It needs to be functional for you so that you can make sure you're getting all of the important stuff done that you want to get done. Maybe some days, like you have kids, and every kid, I remember my kids are all grown, but I do remember when I had 3 kids all doing sports. So Saturdays would always be a crazy sports day. So on Saturday, I would take 3 little dots and I would do one kid's sport, the second kid's sport, and then the third kid's sport. And I'd write down, what time or what game it was or anything like that. I would just add that onto the calendar. The purpose of using the templates for me is really just to give myself a really happy starting place. It makes sense. It flows. I look at it and I'm like, oh, it's so cute. And taking that guesswork out of getting started was a big hurdle that I had. So that's how I use my monthly spread, and then I fill in as I go. And you would fill in each date. So let's say President's Day is usually a day off, so you may be going to do something that day. So maybe you want to, do I want to do that? I'm trying to think of like which pen I want to use. Maybe I want to use the red one. So if I'm doing something on this day, instead of having a sticker, I could just take my my mod liner and draw in an accent like that, and then write in with a black pen what I was doing on that day. And then I do try and kind of balance that out. So if I have that here, I'd want to see it someplace else over here. But if not, no big deal. It's still like, it still looks cute. I still have a landing spot for my eye. My eye goes around my page and off. And what you do on your next pages here is really the nitty gritty of what you're working with every day. So from here, you can kind of use the same layout idea that we've used here. So you can do, maybe it's just one little small circle here to remind you of what you are focusing on this week and what you want to accomplish. So, for example, when you get to your week here, you're going to know what are important things that you have coming up, what you need to do, where you have events and where you don't. But what I like to do is at the beginning of the week, sort of set out my plan for the week. So every layout would be very similar in function. At the top, I'd probably put like, on this layout, I would use this and put my morning meditation onto this page. On my current layout, I'm using more of a little bit of a different setup here. Do I have it? Oh, I moved it over into this one, sorry. On this one, I'm using my layout, so I have a pretty consistent layout. And right here underneath, I put down my morning affirmation or my meditation. What I'm saying to myself throughout the day and how I'm getting through the day. And then I add what I'm grateful for down here. So my weekly layout is really just a big snapshot of what I have going on. So let's just take this as a for example. I would need something here. And if I wanted to sort of mirror that kind of circle affirmation getting started, I might do that right in this space. And you might just do, let's see. This is always a fun one here. If I put this, I'm going to put this one here and build out from here. So Mondays for me are not super busy because I have I have a class on Mondays. So Mondays for me I have a lot of my time is set in a class. So I can kind of go into this circle a little bit and remind myself of what my intentions are for this week. So I would just take, again, following in my circle pattern. So starting here as my focus, I'm going to just kind of bring these out here. And if you have a lot going on, you may say, I don't have room to do that. I have to use that for to-dos. Totally understandable. I get it. Use it for what you need to use it for. And then let me just find some little hearts here. Again, we go through our book. I'm sure there's little hearts in here. Nope, no little hearts. So maybe I'd pull up a different book and grab some little hearts, or just use my little flag stickers here on my page. So basically what you're doing here is just setting the tone. Set the tone. Just like your coaches tell your kids when they start a game, set the tone. So right in this corner here, I'm setting my tone for the week. And I may end up with to-dos in the middle here, but on Sunday night, this looks really great to me. So if my intentions is for my health, I want to make sure that I meal prep and that is tied to my intentions for my health. If family time is important, I want to make sure that I plan FaceTimes with each of my kids and talk to them. They all live not at home anymore, so I want to plan FaceTimes to be with my family. And then organization and house prep is another big area. So maybe I do a donation drop. So these are three big things that I want to get done for the week that tie into achieving my goals. So what is it that are your goals? What, maybe these are your like really just three big things. You have a big paper to write. Maybe you are working on home improvement. Maybe you have to have a really big conversation with somebody that ties back to your intentions of sharing love or anything like that. And then once you've done that, um, you can add a little quote on there. We'll just put that like a little quote right there onto my little square just to kind of give me that inspiration for my week. Now, once I've done that, I'm ready to kind of start working through my week. So I know one of the things I need to do every morning is my morning meditation. So I'm going to give myself a spot to write my morning meditation right here. And it's every morning I want to do that. So every morning I wake up, I make my coffee, I open my planner to see what I have to do, and I can write a morning meditation. It may be the same meditation all week. It may be like maybe you're having a hard week. And so you just need to remind yourself to take care of yourself, to know that you're doing the best you can. Whatever it is, that's going to go right in there. And then at the end of the day, I like to do my gratitude. So at the end of the day, I'm going to put a little spot here for my gratitude. So at the end of the day, what is it that I'm grateful for? Just as a closing reminder for my day, that's going to go right there. Then I also like to mark my meals, what we're having for dinner. So I also will do that towards the end of the day as well. And I'll just mark that there. I'm not going to fill it in because obviously this is a few weeks in advance and my plans would change, but that's what I do there. And then if I have some big meetings coming up or, anything big to do that I need to take care of, I might just take some big stickers and add those right into the week. So if I have something major coming up or I have a lot to do here or I want to pull out my eye and remind myself that I need to do something, I'll pop that in there right like that. And then I just work my way across the week. Now, if your stickers are a little bit too big to go into a spot, you can always trim them down. And again, that's where having an empty page is super helpful. So let me just see if I can do it. I'll just do it with this one here. So what I mean by that is when your sticker doesn't fit on your page, you need to trim it down. So we're going to put it back on this sheet here and trim this down a little bit. Now, do I always pull my sticker sheets out of my book? Hardly ever. But I think it's easier for you guys to see with the sticker sheet out of the book. Because otherwise I would lose my sheets. But I do use the back of my hand often to put things on. Sorry. Usually this comes off so much easier. Okay, so once you've got it kind of peeled off like that, it makes it a little bit easier to trim down your sticker if you need to. So I'll just put it on the edge of the sticker sheet and then trim it down from there. So all you have to do, measure your square. So this is 1.5 inches. Grab our paper trimmer and then just trim your sticker down to 1.5 inches. So it's not even that much that needs to be trimmed off. that way. So, and then we'll do the top way here. And it is it's like 1 7/8 on the distance. Again, not that much we're trimming off. There we go, right there. Okay, then once that's trimmed down, you can add that to your page, your layout, and you'll add another sticker on top of it if something comes up that you need to put in this space. But Sundays are sometimes rest days, so you may just leave it blank and have that be a rest day. So what I like to do is kind of lay out my week a little bit, get my focus going, put in what's important. If you have, this is where you put in your exercise. Something that you do every week can go right on here. So you guys can't see the page. Let's see. Is that better, closer like that? So that's how you would lay out your week. So looking at one that I've completed, this is a little bit of a different layout, but I have, again, on top here, my major due dates and deadlines. I have my sentiment for the day, sort of 3 things that I have to get done. I have my meals right here, and then I have just other tidbits of information. Now, I tend to, my weeks and my days get really busy. So I also like to incorporate into my organization daily layouts. And I've got some of those right here to show you what a daily layout is and how you can set those up to achieve your goals every day. Now, sometimes you may not need a whole page for a day. You may just want to use, sometimes I like kind of carry it through, and then at the end of the week, I'll go through and do a review. But I put my day of the week at the top. And then at the bottom here on the last page, I use Saturday and Sunday. I'll start off and put something in this space here. And I loved this layout because it had this sticker book because it had these big circls that I could use. I think it was this one or the other one, in my daily planning. I think this was it. See, I marked it here. Did I mark it? No, that was that one. But we'll just put this down here. Oh, where are the big circles? One of these had big circles. What is this one? Somebody asked which pens I'm using. So I use the mild liners a lot. Those are the brush mild liners. I always call them mid liners, but they're actually mild liners. So I love those. Those are the brush tips, and they're really easy to use. They don't bleed through. So I really enjoy using those. You have a lot of different colors to choose from. I also use the zebra click art ones, and I find a lot of times the colors coordinate. So those are really good. And then this, my favorite pen to use is actually the Uniball pen. And I buy them in a whole box, so I have them handy. And my whole family knows these are the pens I use for when I do my planners. Those are usually the ones that I like to use. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little circle of reminder here, just as a little embellishment. And then I might take a little note of something that I'm trying to do for myself. These are the 3 things that I absolutely have got to get done today. So at the end of the month, one of the things I need to do is submit invoices. So I will definitely have that as an eat the frog, get it done, get it out of the way. I'll have that there. I'll recap the month, recap January for my highs and lows. and I just write down what was exciting, what was successful, what do I need to improve on. Those are my highs and lows. And then probably something else by that point will pop up that I need to take care of and tend to. And then I like to just embellish on my page a little bit. So sometimes if let's do this because it's kind of a good saying at the end of the month. Sometimes I'll just put like one long sticker or washi tape across here. Surround yourself with the things you love, discard the rest. Isn't that a great sentiment for at the end of the month? Surround yourself with things you love and discard the rest. So then once I've done that, I'll sort of just add a little embellishment around here with my pen usually. Just keep it simple. And then I can, if I have a phone call or notes will go in here, my to-dos will go down here. And then a lot of times I'll use these two spaces to mark what I'm eating. So meals for that day will go right there. And my hydration will go right here. So sometimes I'll even just take my pen. I like to do it in blue. I don't know why, because it's water, but I'll just do like circles and I'll do 10 little circles. 80, 90, 100 ounces. So that way, if I can get to 100 ounces in a day, that's really my goal. So I'll put that right there. Now at the beginning of the week, I'll go through and do all of this. Sorry, on like Sunday night, I'll go through and do all of this and I'll say to my family, hey, does anybody have anything on the calendar? Maybe if I'm going to the grocery store, I'll put food I need to pick up. Any special requests from the family, I'll put in there. And I'll set up all of my pages with all the important things I have to do. And then as I have tasks, even if they're little teeny tiny tasks, I like to break my tasks down into smaller tasks. So if I have, sorry, I'm still here. Just turned off that camera. If I have like something, a big task that I need to do, let's say I need to do something for one of my children for the PTA or something like that. Although I'm past those years, but I do totally remember what that was like. I will break that down. So I'll put down, all the individual steps that need to happen in order for the big thing to happen. So I know, like, if one of my tasks is to take the books back to the library, let's say they're due that day, I need to take my books back to the library. Well, part of that task is gathering all the books from around the house, getting them into the car, and then dropping them off at the library. So I will put as one of my tasks in my day to gather all the library books. And then maybe the next day is drop the library books off. This really helps me stay focused. Some people, can just keep all those things in their head. I'm more of a visual person. So if I see it, I know it needs to get done and then I can do it. And I find breaking it down into smaller bits kind of makes it seem less overwhelming. When you've got, like 20 different errands to run and you're trying to remember everything in your head. I can't do it. So I like to use my planner to do it. And then once I've done it, I can check it off. At the end of the week, I do, like, when I sit down on Sunday night, I do a recap of my week last week, and I'll go back and I look at my daily pages and I'll say, did I do those things? Yes, check them off. Am I going to do those things? Yes, move them to the next week. Am I really never going to get these done? Then don't stop. I'm going to stop writing them down and just let them fall to the side. So that's kind of what I do. The question about Veronica, about my photo, I used the zip Polaroid printer, and it works with an app on my phone. So I can just take any picture I have on my phone and print it out in the zip printer. And it prints out a little, like a 2x3 size, and it's a sticker, so I can just trim it and then stick it into my planner. So I think that's it. Are there any other questions before we wrap up? We have shared in the chat the link to the monthly essentials page. You can download this and print it out just like this, and you can punch holes in the top of it so you can keep it in your planner if you want. I would love to see how your page spread comes out. So if you post on Instagram, you can tag Learn with Michaels and me at Kesley.365. I would love to see how your planner turns out. And real quick, before we go, Chanel, I'm sorry, let me just switch back over to my overhead camera because I did have some additional layouts to show using the monthly layout spread. So you saw, this was my first February to test out my circle and the picture and everything. So it's very similar. I just used different stickers. And then in March, I chose a little bit dustier sort of color scheme here. And this is my layout here. So you can see I have the blocks coming down and across and the big block here. And then in April, I did the cloud, and I cut the cloud on my Cricut with Doodlebug Designs, sugars and cream paper. And then since I'd lost my month, I added the month there. And then I have my cascading layouts here. In May, I did that V, and instead of like one big flower, I just happened to use clusters of flowers. And again, I used my words of intention throughout this spread just as a reminder. And June, similar. June is always like a time to complete projects and a time to start new projects. And then I think I have, yep. And then my July is really simple. It kind of has a nautical theme, and it follows the up and down pattern. And then August, I did a Disney theme. Not that we're going to Disney. I just like the stickers. So I did the Disney theme. And I think and I've got September. So all of these, I'll share these on my Instagram. If you want to go ahead and give me a follow, you'll see them as the months come along, as we get closer for everything. Oh yes, can we put the link back in the chat just for anybody who came in late or anything like that? I think if you join late, you don't get it, you don't have it. And we'll also
sorry, I was just saying yes, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. And I'll see if we can get it added to the recording too. So you don't forget, like, this class has been recorded, so you can always go back, look at the recording, share the recording. Like, if somebody you know would benefit from getting a little organized, go ahead and share the recording with them. But I think that's everything, and we've answered all of your questions. And thank you so much, Deb. I appreciate your positive feedback. And Tamara, you too. You guys have a fantastic evening. Stay warm. It's really cold around here, so good time to stay inside and be planning. Thanks, everybody.